It has been a rough old week for markets and things seem to be going from bad to worse with both US equities and the crypto markets slumping today again. Let's get into exactly what's going on, how long we expect this to last and where I see things going from here, where I see the opportunity from here. I'm going to try and keep today's video a little bit quicker than usual, straight to the point. We can just break this down very, very simply because I don't think it's a particularly complex situation, to be honest, at least in practical terms. So first of all, looking at Bitcoin, as I mentioned, might be the case. Yesterday, we did come up earlier in the trading session, moving away from this volume node, but sure enough, the gravity of that higher volume area as displayed here with the fixed range volume profile, fixed range between the low that we put in on the 6th of February and the high that we just put in on the 17th of March, that is basically acting as an anchor point. Prices are still melting away, pulling back to that. It looked like we might have an update today, but the buyers were quickly overcome by the sellers and we started pulling back into the gravity of this higher volume area. This typically acts as a magnet, right? So you can see that the chart goes up here from left to right. This means that more volume has been exchanged at these prices, and that area lasts anywhere between $69,000 and down here at about $67,000, we'll say, just to keep it simple. This line is the point of control. That is the area that the most amount of volume has been transacted within this fixed range on the volume profile, right? The area of highest volume is called the node, or it's called the point of control, sorry. You would call that a volume node, and that tends to be a magnet for price, and price tends to move quickly through areas of low volume and slowly through areas of high volume, but crucially pulling towards those areas of higher volume because that is where prices have been accepted before. We know yesterday's moves were mostly fed by liquidations. Even within the last 24 hours, still $100 million worth of long liquidations in the market. If we take a look at where that is lying right now, we can see that pretty much even with a slight bias to short side liquidation risk in the markets, meaning that there are more shorts in the market right now on the daily time frame. And if we zoom that out to the 30-day time frame, you can see there's still just ever so slightly more longs in the market than there are shorts. Interesting to watch the fear and greed index slipping around back to that sort of flavor of market where a few points moves us quite quickly in either direction on the fear and greed index. But look what's happening in the broader market. Obviously, there's a war happening in the Middle East. Uncertain situation. Markets don't like uncertainty. Look at the S&P today. Down at $6,500. We haven't seen prices like this since November last year. Things seem to be going from bad to worse. Not a good situation at all. You can see these moves coming after Iran and Israel exchanged strikes overnight, while the former also launched new attacks against energy sites in the Persian Gulf region. The Wall Street Journal reported, citing US officials, that the Pentagon is sending thousands of additional Marines to the Middle East. Remember, there's already some Marines on the way to the Middle East, and clearly any sort of boots on the ground situation is a significant escalation. So you've got the uncertainty aspect. You've got, obviously, the Strait of Hormuz, the fact that we can't get effectively 20% of the world's oil supply out of the countries where it's made to where it's needed. That has a knock-on effect on the means of production of all sorts of goods, which has a knock-on effect into inflation, which we're already starting to see in PPI data coming in hotter than expected. Why is that a problem? It's a problem because for crypto, for risk assets, it leads towards a situation of tighter, stricter monetary policy in the US. Take a look at FedWatch. Here you can see, okay, not only our last Fed rates decision came in to meet rates, and you can see that the chances of rates being matched again, i.e. not changed, I should say unchanged, not met, and the chances of that happening at the next meeting are currently 89.7%. But look what happens if we look into future Fed meetings, future FOMC meetings. Look what starts to happen in terms of the predictions of a rate cut, or as I should say, a rate hike, in fact, tightening of that monetary policy, less liquidity in the markets. This is all being priced in from the futures markets. Right, 15% chance of a rate hike on the 17th of June meeting. We look at July, 15.8% chance. September, 24.8% chance, and a 2% chance of a 400 to 425 BPS. 28th of October 2026, 28% chance of a rate cut. December, we're looking at 26% chance. Some chance of a rate cut in December, but the bulk of the chance is coming in at either hold or hike, unfortunately. And so on and so forth as we extend the time horizon out. The point is, markets are predicting that, yes, we are going to see an impact on inflation, and yes, we are going to see tightening of monetary policy, not easing of monetary policy, which would equate to essentially more liquidity entering the markets. So risk assets, big money, doesn't like uncertainty that war brings. It also certainly doesn't like the monetary environment that is caused by the inflation of this particular conflict. And that gives you two basically massive bearish points in the fundamental macro environment. Against equities, particularly, you're seeing this squeeze in the S&P. This is a nice little dip on the S&P. I mean, down from highs. Nearly 7%. And I was calling it a nice little dip. Sounds a little bit a bit positive, potentially. Dip implies that it's something that you should be buying into. I'll leave that up to you to decide. That is my strategy with Bitcoin. And that is why I think it's not yet time for us to turn around. People are speculating, okay, there's a chance that Bitcoin is holding up well. There's resilience, right? This article here by Decrypt. What happens to Bitcoin if Bank of America's 3 conditions for a Fed rate hike is hit? Analysts acknowledge that Bitcoin would likely face pressure if the Fed hikes rates, but they highlighted the asset's recent resilience. Well, my question is, how long can that resilience last? And the problem is, when people buy into that resilience with leverage, it just sets up a bull trap, which is what we saw playing out in this move. Too many people get too excited too early, and it's still happening, and they become liquidated, forced to sell, and prices come down very quickly. We're seeing less of that over time, which I think is a good thing, but usually the way these things work out is, okay, that's still active right now, i.e. people jumping in on leverage, people being liquidated, overextensions of moves, particularly to the downside because the whole market is bearish right now. That's reducing over time, but that's probably going to be reduced to the point at which this could turn around on a spot-led move, right at the point when the overall macro situation is better. That's just how these things tend to go. What does that mean for you? Well, I can't say exactly. What it means for me is currently still in my short position. I'm up about $170 on that short trade. Very small size. Okay, none of this new information really gives me something to act upon right now in terms of going into a big short position, but I'm holding this position open. Very small size, nominally very small size for me, for the account, etc. 0.05 BTC, 20x leverage, $170 up. But what I'm really interested in is accumulating more as we maintain this bear phase of the market, accumulating more spots for the future, for that future period where this all blows over, hopefully, and we return to a bull market eventually. Another piece of rather interesting news, I would say, would be news like this, right? SEC news earlier in the week. NASDAQ winning SEC approval to move stocks on chain shows how Wall Street is taking charge of crypto tech. NASDAQ structure, the SEC approved, opens door to bring blockchain benefits to equities while preserving the same old intermediaries and market structure, industry insiders say. I'm not going to pick this whole thing apart, okay? It's bullish news, broadly speaking, for the market as a whole. This is something that, it's another step towards a crypto-friendly environment in the US. Right now, that means seeds in the ground, but there's not the correct environment for those seeds to grow. It's not raining, if you want to continue that analogy. But once again, this 70K, 69K, whatever region is very different to the last time we were here. That's all I've got for you right now. Stay safe out there. As always, not financial advice. Nothing I say should be considered financial advice, purely shared with you for entertainment. It's purely just my opinion. But thank you so much for watching. There's plenty more to come. Catch you in the next one. Bye.